A big cargo ship has run aground in the Columbia River. That ship got stuck early this morning near Cathlamet, Washington.
Core Hartland shows us how the ship is shows us the ship and the work that's happening right now to prevent an environmental disaster on the lower Columbia.
The U.S. Coast Guard says the 623-foot cargo ship, the Sparna, a Panamanian vessel, was fully loaded with grain when it went aground near Cathlamet, Washington, just after midnight this morning. The Sparna is listing slightly to its left in what the Coast Guard says is a narrow part of the main shipping channel in the Columbia River, less than 20 miles east of Astoria. I talked with the Public Affairs Detachment of the Coast Guard in Warrenton this morning. They say that they have taken a flyover of the ship and have not seen fuel leaking from it. But they do say it's holding almost 260,000 gallons of high sulfur fuel and marine diesel. The ship was heading out to sea with a river pilot still aboard when it ran aground. The Coast Guard couldn't say how the pilot managed to steer the ship onto the river bottom. What happens next, I wanted to know. The Coast Guard says the tide likely will not be enough to lift the ship, so it's awaiting a plan of action from the ship's operator. That will likely mean the grain in the cargo holds might have to be removed from the stranded ship to another vessel. There are no reports of injuries. A single tugboat is sitting next to the tanker to keep it stabilized. The Coast Guard expects to get the grain removal plan today. There's no word on when the actual removal of that grain might begin. And shipping remains open as the Sparna sits in the sandy river bottom east of Astoria. Near Cathlamet, Washington, Core Hartland, KOIN 6 News.